This conference will
regards
now
to
be
that aspect.
recorded.
Anyone did any practical with regards to the S3 bucket, like how to add the respective S3 bucket as your volume to your EC2 instances. So just whenever you have a free time, right, at least for 10 to 15 minutes, let's go ahead and complete those practical as well, right? That is one thing. And secondly, so now we're going to be starting our respective practical called IAM. So with regards to the IAM, we're going to be discuss about the users, we'll discuss about the respective groups and the roles and the policies, and also we'll discuss about the password, and also we're going to discuss about the respective credential reports. So later we're going to be discuss about the SAML based authentication, how that is going to be happen, right?
Shanmugh, am I audible?
Yes.
Uh, I have one curiosity, like AWS having this IAM, right? And
Hmm.
then still they have Cognito as well. What is the
Hmm.
difference? Why, for the same kind of, I don't know the details of Cognito, but was curious why the same kind of SAML and all they are providing Cognito as well. Can it not be done with the IAM?
Cognito is for your respective API way of authentication for your API, and whereas IAM is for your management, AWS management way of authentication actually, right?
But
Management
but
application actually.
but you said that
Completely
there is a
AWS console
but
for your
you
respective
said that
AWS.
there is a programmatic way for this also.
That is through CLI actually. So the one which you are with the help of Cognito, you cannot manage or you cannot authenticate or you cannot authorize your respective AWS resources with the help of Cognito. Whereas with the help of IAM, you have can able to authenticate and authorize the AWS resources. These are two different things. The Cognito only for your respective API authentication. For example, API way of authentication in the sense, if your UI have an enough caliber to call your respective backend microservices, the Cognito will provide the authentication and authorization for your front end to call your respective backend to a secure way of communication between your front end to backend. That is only for the API way of authentication. Whereas IAM is completely authenticating and authorizing your respective AWS resources.
Okay.
That is two different services which are provided by the AWS. There is no relation for Cognito and IAM. Previously, you have a mechanism called kick lock actually, which acts similarly like an Cognito. So whereas this respective Cognito has been in past services which are offered by the AWS for the API authentication and authorization, right? Only for the API authentication and authorization. Whereas this respective IAM resources which provide the authentication and authorizations for your respective AWS console to authenticate your respective resources in two areas. One is with the management console access, where you can provide the username and the password. And the second one is through CLI, right? Command line interface, which is nothing but a programmatic access. This is what it is. Am I clear on this?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, now we'll enter into our concept here. Firstly, when you guys are entering into the respective organization, so they will provide you the authentication for their respective AWS resources via IAM actually. So further, you guys need to know. Further, you guys need to know about the right. Further, you guys need to know about the respective resources like users, IAM users actually. The user is the one which you are using at this moment. You guys are logged in with the respect to root account actually. That means you guys are providing the username and the password here. You guys are providing the respective Gmail along with the password here, right? Gmail and the Gmail root email address, email ID, and the password, right? And the password. You guys are performing this area. So this is called root account actually, where this root account access will going to be have only the authority only for the respective project manager actually, with project manager. This root email address will only the respective authority person who can able to access this respective root email address and the password. And later, you guys need to understand about how you guys are going to be logged into your respective AWS management console. You have a admin user, right? You have an admin user, right, where he can able to perform all the operations, including IAM. Admin user can able to perform all the operations, including the IAM, right? Admin user can able to perform the can able to perform all the operations, actually, including IAM. Listen carefully. This is an interview question, including IAM, right? Whereas there is one more user called power user actually. There is one more user called power user. There is one more user called power user, where he can able to perform all the operation, excluding the IAM. The power user will perform all the operations, excluding the IAM. This is another question. Right, excluding the IAM. So this is one main important, excluding the IAM. This is one main important. This is how it going to be happen, excluding the IAM. This is how it going to be happen here. The admin user as well as power user. So rest you have been like providing the individual resource wise access. Resource wise, you call those one as an development users or the normal users actually. What you guys are going to perform here? So you guys are going to be performed here, right? You guys are going to be performed here. Specific access here, right? Specific access to specific resources. For example, a group of people, right? For example, a group of people will going to be, right? For example, the group of people will going to be provide the access only for the S3 resources and EC2 resources and RDS resources and the DynamoDB resources. So for this specific access for the group of people will going to be provide only the read write access actually. To read write and the modify access. That means you're providing the full access. You're providing the full access here. Right, you've been providing the full access here. So this is one main important thing. Full access you guys been providing this. This is one main important thing that you guys need to understand. Only for the specific resources. For example, you want to access the other resources like elastic load balancer. No, you cannot have the access to access those respective resources. Right? You cannot able to access those respective resources here. That is one thing you guys need to understand. You cannot able to access those respective resources. right? That is one main important. And secondly, you can also provide the specific read access, right? Specific read access to the few group peoples. For example, you can provide the same set of access to this respective group of people, but this is only for the read access. But this is only for the read access. Right? This is only for the read access. This is one main important. This is only for the read access. This is one main important thing that you guys need to understand. The read access. That is how you guys need to understand. Right? Am I clear on this? These are the two different access you're going to do based upon the level you guys are going to do. But in your real-time environment, if you guys are belong to the DevOps people, right? DevOps team, based upon your seniority level, you will get a power user access. Right? Based upon the seniority level, you will get a power user access. Right? Based upon the seniority level, you will get a power user access. This is one thing that you guys need to understand. So power user access, what it do? It will have an authority to perform all the operations in all the resources except IAM. Right? Except IAM here. So in the IAM, you have a two different access. One is admin access. Right? One is admin access. It will access the resources, right? Including IAM. Right? Power user access. Power user access. Right? Power user access. So it will access the resources excluding IAM. Right? Excluding the IAM. This is one main important. Excluding the IAM. This is one main important. So like that, you guys are going to be differentiate the respective access. Like that, you guys are going to be differentiate the respective access here. And similarly, you guys are going to be having the group access. Actually. Similarly, you guys are going to be accessing the group access. What is the purpose of group, guys? What does it do? The group, what does it do? What is the purpose of group? Collection of the users. So you can provide the accesses, right? You can provide the accessing of the resources here, right? You can allocate a group, right? For the specific access, you can add the users to that respective group, right? So that is one main important thing, right? You can select the users and the same permissions is going to be allocated the group of people. For example, I have a development group, right? Thanks. I have a development group here where the developers will have only the read access. I have a development group here where the developers have the read access for the S3 bucket and they have an access to the RDS along they need to have access to the respective DynamoDB and few of the Jenkins nodes, that means EC2 instances, they need to provide the access, right? EC2 instances, they need to provide access. This is how it's going to be happen here, right? EC2 instances. So this is how it's going to be happen here. So this is one thing that you guys need to understand about Dev, S3, RDS, DynamoDB, and Jenkins. So now here you guys need to understand about the right. You guys need to understand about the culture. So you create a development group. You have assigned this many permissions to access the resources, and you guys are going to add the users to the specific groups. right? You guys are going to add the users to this respective specific, right, to the specific groups. That is one main important thing that you guys need to understand, right? So now this is how it works here. So now this is how it works here. You have been accessing through, right? You have been accessing through a group. For the specific groups, you have been using the respective policies and enabling the policies to that specific group and adding the users to the group. Now we'll see how to create the users, how to create the groups, how to assign the permissions, and what is the difference between these permissions. We'll see in the practical mode. Right? Am I clear? The theoretical part, what I'm trying to do here. Am I clear on this? Any questions, any doubts? Right? What I'm trying to do here right now. Right? So now here you have a, right, we'll create a users here. So now here you've been creating the users, right? Now you've been creating the users here with the help of, right, IAM console, AWS management console. Later point of time we'll discuss about the AWS CLI as well. Right, later point of time we've been discussing about the CLI as well here. We'll see how it goes. So go for the IAM here. So now there is no users at all. So we'll create a user here. Add the user. We'll create the read-only user here. Only the read-only access. Here you have two users actually. One is the programmatic access and second one is the AWS management console access. Right. Here you have two things: AWS programmatic access and the AWS management console access here. So now here we'll see first about the AWS management console access. And here this is your custom password, the one which you required here. Right, the custom password. And user must create a new password at next sign in. As soon as he got signed in, he can able to have an authority to change the password here. So it required a password policy. Let's go with the password policy here. So now here I've been attaching the permissions, right? The permissions EC2. I've been using the EC2 read-only access, right? EC2 read-only access. I've been using the permissions called EC2 read-only access here. That means he can able to perform only the read and he cannot able to perform only the write. So he cannot modify, he cannot delete those things actually, right? We can provide the respective modification of the respective resources here. So now here, add the tags here. So name equal to read only. Guys, following Pavan, Mangesh, Jiva, Rekha, Rohini. You guys are following, right? So now here, we'll have only the read-only access here. So he can have the access of Amazon EC2 read-only along with the respective IAM user change password, right? IAM user change password. So now here, create the user here. So as soon as you guys are creating the user, you can able to download the respective CSV file here. Click on this download, or you can directly send a mail to your respective individual authority here, right? That is one thing. Directly you can send a mail. Now, as soon as you have got this credential report, Aadhaar, no, you guys are following, right? So now here, copy this respective URL here. This is the URL for your respective console, right? So they will provide you the console access like this, or else they will also going to provide some project name for you. That I will discuss the aliasing name in the next class. How you can provide the aliasing name for your respective AWS console, that we'll discuss, right? We're going to be discussed here. So now here, as soon as you got this respective one, how to log in this respective AWS console. Yes, you need to provide the link actually, or else you can directly use your respective AWS account name here. So go for the console here, sign in. So here is your respective account address here, or else you can also provide the aliasing name for it, or else you can also provide the aliasing name for it. How to create an aliasing name, that I will discuss. So this is not root user, right? You are not using the root user anymore. You are using the IAM user. It will ask you either the account ID or the 12 digits here. It will ask you either the account ID or the 12 digits here, right? It will ask you either the account ID or the 12 digits here. Am I clear on this? It will ask you either the 12 digits or the aliasing ID here. Now what you guys need to do is, you have provided your respective account ID. As of now, you don't have the aliasing name, right? So now create on next, and this is your IAM user and the password, right? This is your respective IAM user and the password. IAM user here is, what is your IAM user?
Read only.
Read only, right? Read hyphen only, and the password which you have given. As soon as you have entered into the password, it will ask you to reset your password, providing by the these two things. Confirm the password change here. So like that, you guys are going to be logged in on your respective real-time environment. Like that, you guys are going to be logged in on your respective real-time environment here. Am I clear on this? See, instead of the account ID, you guys are going to be use aliasing name. That aliasing name that I will going to be showcase. How to enable the aliasing name, right, for your respective AWS. Am I clear? Any questions, any doubt?
So
So now, go ahead.
using one AIM user account, we can able to log in multiple accounts.
No, this is only restricted to the specific account.
Okay. But I can see in my environment, like using the
That is
single
to
sign-on, I can.
SAML
Oh.
via SSO actually, guys are using. That is chargeable actually. That is one thing. That is chargeable, right? So that is one thing that you guys need to understand here. So now here we'll go with the IAM here. Right. This is your respect to IAM dashboard here. Right. This is your respect to IAM dashboard. So now, no, that is IAM is completely global actually. IAM is through completely global access. You cannot use IAM only for the specific region restrictions actually. You cannot use IAM for the specific user restrictions. So that is one main important thing that you guys need to understand. So this is how you guys are going to be logged in. Again, I'm using the respective, right? Again, I'm using the respective, right? Again, I'm been using the respective. What is this my here? This is my global action. So this is one main important thing that you guys need to understand. This is IAM is the complete global access here. IAM is the completely global access here. So now here you guys need to understand here, right? Here you guys need to understand here how to restrict the access, right, for your specific resources. For example, now here, if you look at my respective user which have logged in with the help of read-only, if I go for respective Mumbai region where my resources are there. So these are the 20 instances are there actually, which is in stopped state. If I'm going for an Terraform, if I click on the Terraform, if I go for the respective start the instances, see it has been failed to authorization failure. Why this is going to be happen? Why this is going to be happen here?
Read only
Why I am not
permissions.
able to start my instances?
Permissions only, read only.
Yeah, permissions only, read only.
Read
I have provided only the read only permissions for this respective user. That is one thing you guys need to understand. And the secondly, you guys need to understand about the right. And secondly, you guys need to understand about the how to change these permissions here. Again, go for the respective users. I need to provide the from the admin I'm been doing actually. Again, go for this respective users over the read only. I've been changing my permissions, right? So I've been changing my permissions. I'm deleting this permission here, deattach, right? And add the permissions here, attach the existing permissions here. Here I'm going to provide the EC2, right? I'm clicking on the EC2. I'm being providing the EC2 full access, right? EC2 full access. So now can I do start and stop the instances for the respective user called read only? Can I perform the activity now? I have provided the EC2 full access. Can I do right now? Yes, I can. So now here, let me refresh the console. Let me start the instances. I can able to start it successfully. Similarly, I can also terminate the instances here. Right. Similarly, I can also able to terminate the instances. Right. I can also terminate the respective instances. Similarly, I can also terminate the respective instances. This is one of the main advantage for your restriction of your access for the specific resources actually, right? Specific resources. So now here, right now here, I would like to go with the respective group approach actually. So now here, I would like to go with the respective group approach. So let me create one group and add the user to the specific group. This is all I'm doing over the admin user, right? admin user. So now here user groups, I'm going to click on the respective user groups and I'm going to create a two groups. One is with admin group and second one is the power user group and third one is with the respective development group. Am I clear on this? What I'm trying to do? Here I've been creating the three groups. One is with the admin group, and second one is with the respective read-only group actually. So which is we call this one as a development group, and third one is the power user group, power access group, right? Power access group, right? Power access group. These are the three groups actually that you guys are going to be enabled here. Create a group. This is one group called development group, the one which I am going to be doing, right? Dev group, group. So now here you can add the users actually if you want, or else simply you can create a policy for this. For the development group, what kind of policies I'm going to give? S3 read only. Click on the search for the S3, and you can go with this AWS S3 read only, right? And then you go with the EC2 read only, right? And then you need to go with the RDS read only, right? RDS read only, and then you can go with the DynamoDB read only. DynamoDB read only. So these are the four permissions I'm going to give here. Create a group. So now here this respective group will have an four permissions here. One is with EC2 read only, second one is DynamoDB read only, third one S3 read only, and fourth one RDS read. Right? Fourth one RDS read only. So this is one thing which you guys are going to be understand here. Am I clear on this? Any questions, any doubts? S3 read only, RDS read only, and then DynamoDB read only, and then EC2 read only for the dev group. Similarly, for admin group, I'm going to provide all the permissions here. Create a group, admin group, right? Admin group. Here I would like to go with the permission called administrative access. Administrative access. Create a group. Administrative access. Right? Administrative access here. This is one main important thing here that you guys need to understand.
So all these users and the groups which you are creating and providing access, we are right for my users. So it should be only for the AWS console, right? Not from the
Yes.
server level, correct?
Not from the server level. If you want to restrict from the server level, you need to go with the
Instance, right? Log into instance and we're
sorry.
server level access. So
LDAP.
build up.
LDAP you need to go. If you want to manage through serverless server, right? The server access, you need to use the concept called LDAP, right? That is true LDAP actually. So now here This administrative group has been created actually, which have admin access. The permissions is administrative access. And similarly, you guys need to understand about the concept of, right, power user access. This power user access will have the authority to perform the operations in all the services except IAM. Let's create a power user access group as power user access and attach the policies only for power user here. Create a group. Right, create a group here. So this is how it works here. Right, these are the three generally in the real-time environment you will have. One is development group, and second one is the admin group, and third one is the power user group. Right, so these are the three groups which are going to be there on your respective real-time. Now you need to understand how to add the users to the specific group here. So add the user here. So development 1, development 2, right, this is with AWS management console access. Right, custom password, the one which you can use. So here you can use the Linux, whatever the password you want. Right, next permissions, here you can add the users to this groups actually. These two users will going to be attached to the development group. You can name this one as a name equal to their group. Right, next review and create the users. Dev1 and Dev2 will going to be added to the respective development group here. Am I clear on this? Any questions, any doubts? This is how you guys are going to be perform the activity in your respective real-time environment. Right, this is very important actually. So based upon the respective criticality and respective level, they will provide the access for your users. You will provide the access for the users. That is one thing you guys need to understand. And secondly, you guys need to understand about the culture of, right? Secondly, you guys need to understand about the culture of the roles. So before entering into the roles, we're going to understand about the CLI, command line interface. The one which you guys are using at this moment is called AWS Management Console Access, right? AWS Management Console Access here, the one which you guys are going to be using here, AWS Management Console Access here. So what does it mean actually? You guys are completely using the AWS Management Console to access your respective resources, right? To access your respective resources here. So now here, how to connect these resources with the help of AWS CLI, right? How to connect the resources with the help of AWS CLI here. So further, you can use the any of the visions actually. So now go for the land the instances here. So now here go with the T2 micro for your respective instances to verify how to access your respective resources with the help of AWS CLI. So go for the users, go for the select your respective AMI. And here you have 15 GB of the resources here for your storage environment. name equal to AWS-CLI. Right, AWS-CLI. Name equal to AWS-CLI here. Next, security groups. Right, next security groups here. No need to open any port for your respective AWS CLI here. So review and launch. You can use this one as an AWS CLI. Download the key pair and launch the instances. So now here, before the instances got started, let's convert the .pm to .ppk. Let's convert the .pm to .ppk. So now here, search for your respective AWS CLI machine here. So let's use this one here as your key. So now here, my requirement is from this respective AWS EC2 instances, I want to call to the S3 bucket. EC2 instances too, I want to call this to this respective S3 bucket. Right, this is one. I want to access this respective EC2 instances to the respective S3 bucket here. Right, EC2 instances to the respective S3 bucket here. So now here, if I use the AWS CLI, AWS S3 LS to list the respective S3 buckets, it has thrown the error unable to locate the credentials actually. When I want to list the respective S3 bucket, when I want to list the respective S3 bucket from the EC2 instances, the one which I have created just now, when I'm using the command AWS S3LS, it is showcasing the unable to, right? It is showcasing the unable to list the S3 bucket. It is showcasing the unable to list the respective S3 bucket. So now here you guys need to understand. So now here you guys need to understand here how to create this respective credentials for this EC2 instances. Now you need to go for the IAM. Either you can create the users for the specific access of the S3 bucket, or else you can add the users to any of this group. Right? Add the users to any of this group actually. So now here go for the users and add the user to the power user here. So I would like to go with an read-only user. I'm going to attach the existing read-only user to the. I'm removing these policies here. Go for the groups. Now here add the user to the group. Right, power user access I've been adding them. Right, power user access, I'm been adding it. Right, power user access, I'm been adding here. This is one thing. So now here, let's create a security credentials. Right, let's create a security credentials here. So now here in this respective security credentials, what you guys need to do, create the access keys and secret key. This is only one time, guys. This is only, you can get it in only for one time. If you lost this respective key, again you need to delete the existing key and recreate it. It is only for the one time. It is not, you will not get the multiple times actually. Right? You will not get the multiple times actually. That is one thing you guys need to understand. Like key pairs, similar to the key pairs. Right? Similar to the key pairs here. So now here you can use the access key and secret key here. And you can configure your AWS CLI by using the tool called AWS configure, right? That respective access key along with the secret key. Right, access key and along with the secret key here. So now this is only for the specific AP-South-1. This is only for the specific Mumbai region. This is only for the specific Mumbai region actually. Right? This is only for the specific Mumbai region. And the format here I'm been using the JSON format here. And the format I'm been using the JSON format here. So now here you guys need to use the to verify it. Now here you guys able to use the AWS S3LS. I'm getting the access. Now it has been located the credentials. Right now here it has been located the credentials here. Right now here it has been locating the credentials here. And he can able to respective access from the EC2 instances to respective S3 bucket. So all kind of activities, the one which you guys are performing over the management console, you can also perform to the via respective AWS CLI. Right, via respective AWS CLI. Am I clear on this? Any questions, any doubts? Pramod, Jiva, Mangesh, Avinash, any questions on this? What does that, Avinash, actually I observed zero estimator in one screen. What does it? I'm not getting that. Right? So that is one thing. So this is how you guys are going to be accessing your respective. Yeah, now here I have a Mumbai as a default. So for example, I want these credentials need to act on the other region, for example, Singapore. How can I get it? Again, you need to use the AWS configure -- region equal to AP Southeast -1. Here it will the default region, you need to change AP Southeast -1. Right? In the JSON format. Now you can call the AWS S3 -- region equal to Southeast. Right? Like that you can call the specific regions here. Or else you can also configure the profiling actually. If you want to configure the dev profile, you can use the profile actually. -- profile equal to development. You can configure it. AWS configure a dev, or you can configure like this. You can configure QA, you can configure with your respective, right? prod as well. If suppose I want to export to the specific profile, how can I export? Export AWS underscore profile equal to dev, or AWS underscore profile equal to QA, or AWS underscore profile equal to prod. I can call the specific profile and the specific region as well, right? This is how I can able to perform the respective activity. Am I clear on this? How to configure your respective AWS profile credentials actually on your respective EC2 instance. Yes, but here there is one security concern. Somewhere these credentials are going to be stored, right? That is on hidden directory. Right? That is on hidden directory. Is it recommendable to store my credentials on this respective hidden directory? If suppose someone have the access to this respective EC2 instances, and suppose he can able to get the other resources access to this credentials, right? This is not recommendable. This is a security threat. Now, what is the best possible way to access your respective resources? Right, to avoid this kind of things, actually, to avoid this kind of things, AWS has been provided the IAM rules. Right, AWS has been provided the IAM rules here. Now let's remove it. Let's remove this respect to AWS hidden folder here. Right, now let's remove this AWS folder. Let's attach a role here. Create a role from the AWS services to the EC2 instances, common users to EC2 instances, to other AWS services. I would like to say as S3. Right, S3 full operations. Right, S3 full operations you can use. Click on next. All kind of access of S3 you can able to enable here. Permissions S3 full access. Right, S3 full access. Here it's been providing the S3 full access for your service here, all kind of access, and I would like to name this one EC2 to S3. Create a role. As soon as you guys have created this respective role, you guys need to attach this role to the EC2 instances. Go for the services. So now here, go for the actions. Instance, go for the security. Modify the IAM role. Attach your respective EC2 to S3 role. I have removed this one, the credentials, and I can use the AWS S3 Now this is happening via, right? This is happening via IAM role actually, isn't it? If suppose I want to describe the EC2 instances, can I do it? If I'm going to be describe the instances, can I do that? Describe the AWS EC2 instances. Because I have provided only the S3 access, right? I cannot describe the instances here, right? I cannot describe the instances here. For example, I would like to go with AWS EC2, right? AWS EC2, describe the instances here. describe hyphen instances. Hyphen instances. See, I cannot able to do it because the role action is only to provide the S3 actually. Because the role action is only to provide the S3 access from my EC2 instances, isn't it? The role access is to provide the respective access from the EC2 to S3, not from the EC2, complete EC2 here. Or can I perform the RDS, list RDS instances? No, I cannot perform actually. If I'm using the AWS RDS, let describe hyphen db hyphen instances. You cannot do it. Only you can do it. Only the AWS S3, because my role is providing the access only to the S3 resources, not from the other resources. This is the best way of calling your respective resources, right? Rather than providing the access key and secret. Am I clear on this? Right? Any questions? Any doubts here? So later, by coming tomorrow, we're going to be discuss about the concept of, right? We'll discuss about the concept of, very important concepts are there here. You have a policies, you have an identity providers, account settings you have, and the credential reports you have, right? Identity providers is pretty important actually, and policies, how to create your own policies with the help of AWS policy generator, pretty important here. And later we'll enter if time permits after the identity providers. After the time permits, we're going to be use a section called S3 with the static website actually, the one which you have skipped because of this IAM. S3, the static website. Yeah, MFA will fall under the category of account settings and the password forms. Of course, MFA will be there, right? Very important concept. Overall, this IAM and BPC concepts play a vital role actually in your interview process, right? Any questions as of now, guys? Any questions you'd like to ask me with regards to the- as of now? Any questions on this? All good. So where is the assignment, Avinash? I never see you have submitted the assignment. What about Jaya Kumar? You guys are not at all understanding what I'm trying to get. Sorry, I will submit by this. Okay. Fine, guys. Let's meet by tomorrow sharp at 8. We'll continue with the IAM section. Thanks. Thanks for your